The Mentor Chapter. Welcome, gentle listener, I am Baldermort, and I wish to introduce you to the forces, factions, and organizations of the grim darkness of the far future, where there is no time for peace, there is only time for war. And today, we shall continue our scheduled run of simple entries on the successor chapters of the Space Marines. Performing some of these simpler videos in the early part of the week permits me to maintain the channel, provide some information on topics, but retain creativity for the more sumptuous Friday entries. I hope you can understand the logic. Basically, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now please be aware that there may be a lack of appropriate artwork or images for the successor chapters, so I will do my best. But do forgive some images that may not be entirely accurate. Needs must when the devil drives. So, kick back and relax as we go into the details of this, the 888th chapter of the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines. Of course, I can only be speaking of the Mentors chapter. And so, as usual, for the very basics, let us lean on existing wisdom. To quote, the Mentors. The Mentors are a Codex-compliant, loyalist Space Marine chapter. The Mentors were raised in the 26th founding in year 738 Millennium 41, making it one of the most recent founding chapters in the Imperium of Man. The Mentors are known to be a reclusive and suspicious chapter of Astartes, who no longer trust other Space Marine chapters, or even the Imperial government, preferring to work alone and unobserved by all save the foes of mankind and the Emperor. Some highly unreliable and apocryphal fragmentary records suggest that the chapter has at times fielded warriors of unusual size, strength, and fortitude. Imperial records indicate that companies of the Mentors are currently engaging the Orcs of the Cadre system. Since the opening of the Great Rift, the Mentors have received an infusion of Primaris Space Marines after the Indomitus Crusade. They have gained the necessary knowledge and technology to create new Primaris Astartes and to help their less advanced firstborn brethren ascend to the new status by undertaking the dangerous surgery required by the Rubicon Primaris. Chapter History. The Mentors are the second chapter of Astartes to be designated number 888th chapter, the first being the now lost Star Scorpions. This came about because the Star Scorpions, a chapter created during the 25th founding, suffered from both the misfortune of reproducing redundant gene seed and of becoming lost in the warp and being utterly devastated by very powerful warp entities. Some of its company eventually returned to Imperial space after the opening of the Great Rift as the warband of heretic Astartes known as the Pure. Though the Star Scorpions' ultimate fate remains unknown to the Imperium, the High Lords of Terror, acting in the name of the Emperor, declared the chapter lost. While stocks of the Star Scorpion's gene seed have survived the loss of the chapter, the high rate of mutation found within it made it useless when the Adeptus Mechanicus moved to try to reconstitute the chapter, and eventually the Magi Biologists and their chem artifacts were forced to concede defeat. For a time, it seemed that chapter number 888 would never be raised again, but some years later, with a new founding in the offing, the Mechanicus was persuaded to revisit the chapter regalia. Thus, during the 26th founding, the Mentors chapter was born. It received the chapter colors and number of the extinct chapter, but instead of the Star Scorpion's redundant gene seed, it was granted an entirely new generation of Astartes genetic material, collected from the storage banks of Terra's gene laboratories. Chapter Organization. The Mentors chapter is roughly organized in much the same way as the Ultramarines. However, the bulk of the chapter is never seen by outsiders, as the location of its homeworld and fortress monastery is an absolute secret. Only the very highest tech priests within the hierarchy of the Adeptus Mechanicus are aware of its exact location. It is within this hidden fortress that the Mentors perform their rigorous training and disciplining. The massed ranks of the chapter are extensively trained in the art of war and in the use of Imperial military hardware, while a large proportion of the chapter's Astartes are permanently based at their secret headquarters. The balance of the chapter is sent out on missions intended to shore up weak points in the Imperium of Man's defenses. The Mentors also deploy their battle brothers primarily as one of two special formations: the Tutors. The typical Mentor squad is organized around the archetypal Codex Astartes approved 10-man squad. In addition, the Mentors uphold the tradition of splitting into two groups of 5 battle brothers each when in battle. Each of the 10 men in the squad is a veteran battle brother known as a Tutor. There is no acting sergeant in charge of the squad, as each Space Marine holds the same rank, and any of the 10 men may be nominated to lead, or 2 leaders may be selected if the squad is split. Elite Cadre. Another facet of the Mentors is the development and training of the chapter's Elite Cadre. It was originally envisaged that these specialists would perform a number of important semi-military roles, from counter-terrorist operations to undertaking complex undercover special forces missions. The Elite Cadres of the Mentor chapter are the most advanced warriors of their kind within the Adeptus Astartes. They are usually deployed to achieve highly specialized military objectives that would normally be considered the role of special operations troops or commandos in other forces, such as counterterrorism, demolitions, infiltration, and reconnaissance deep in enemy territory. Elite Cadre members expect to be deployed to deal with these threats that lie outside the scope of a Space Marine chapter's standard tactical doctrines, much like a Death Watch kill team. When squads of the Elite Cadre are deployed to aid Imperial commanders across the galaxy, they serve as the Imperium's ultimate special operations warriors, intended to be capable of dealing with any threat outside a normal chapter's expertise, though this aim has not been fully realized as yet. Each member of the Elite Cadre is a formidable senior veteran battle brother of the vaunted First Company. These members represent the pinnacle of their chapter's success to date. There are distinctly fewer Elite Cadre Astartes within the chapter than normal Mentor battle brothers, but what they lack in numbers, they compensate for in sheer power, skill, and application of advanced hardware. Those chosen to become a part of the Elite Cadre are selected due to their advanced training, adaptability in battle, and lateral thinking in strategic and tactical acumen. Elite Cadre Astartes, seconded to other Imperial forces, are often employed as squad leaders, as they make especially effective commanders of Astra Militarum or planetary defense forces. The Elite Cadres are also frequently called upon by the Inquisition, which recognizes their superior skill at arms. The Mentors are known to second their Elite Cadre members to other Space Marine chapters allied with them, where their expert guidance and mastery of the military sciences enable other Astartes to achieve a unique level of knowledge and skill that will help them spread the light of the Emperor to the darkest corners of the galaxy. The Elite Cadres are also used by the Adeptus Terra for a variety of small-scale special operations that call for the deployment of a small group of elite troops rather than the conspicuous might of an entire Space Marine force. The Mentors chapter is highly unusual amongst its fellow Space Marines, and its modus operandi is quite different from that of the bulk of the Adeptus Astartes. The Mentors do not fight as a single force, or even usually as full companies, but instead, small squads are drawn from the whole to supplement other Imperial military forces. This is because one of the unusual traits of Mentor Astartes, which may derive from an unseen mutation within their gene seed, is that every Mentor possesses a near-genius ability to observe, memorize, and adapt to any situation. This extraordinary capacity for learning is especially true in all matters military. The chapter's main pursuit is therefore one of perfecting the fusion between the fruits of military science and the art of war. This extraordinary boon means that every Mentors Astartes is the equivalent of a professor of military science and military history, with many standard years of combat experience to boot. As a result, squads of Mentor Space Marines can serve as force multipliers when they are embedded in other military forces, such as with the regiments of the Astra Militarum or the Starship squadrons of the Imperial Navy. Mentor Space Marines are thus deployed at the request of the various Imperial Segmentum commands all across the galaxy whenever their particular talents would prove to be most useful. The basic rationale behind seconding Mentor squads to other Imperial Adepta is that the Mentors are able to extract the maximum amount of information regarding the fighting prowess and techniques of just about any military force, and thus how to improve their operational efficiency. When these squads return to their chapter headquarters, they bring with them an invaluable record which is without parallel in the galaxy. Other Space Marine chapters and Astra Militarum regiments to whom these squads are sent benefit from having these superior warriors join them for a campaign or battle. An extraordinary benefit to the mentors of this operational structure is that they are able to claim and maintain an honorable record of real combat experience despite their focus on training and research and development. As a result of this uniquely varied combat record, the mentors have added enough citations to their roll of honor to make far more venerable chapters envious. The Mentors chapter enjoys close links with the Adeptus Mechanicus, and thus their equipment is of a superior standard in terms of reliability and technical complexity to that of the average Space Marine chapter, if such a thing can be said to exist. Notable campaigns: The Golance War, 987 Millennium 41. The Flesh Eaters Force Commander Isaiah was in charge of the campaign of the world Golance to prosecute a war against encroaching Eldari. Unable, even after numerous attacks, to rid the planet of the troublesome Xenos who had gained control of the world's secret arsenal, the chapter was at its lowest ebb, having suffered the loss of 350 men and officers at the hands of the manipulative and treacherous Eldar. The Flesh Eaters finally received relief in the form of 5 Astartes of unparalleled skill from the Mentor Legion to deal with the vile Eldar scum and change the course of the war, which of course they did. Imperial records indicate that elements of the Mentors chapter were engaged against the Eldar of the Baltan craft world. Battle of Caradon, Millennium 41. Several whole companies of the chapter are currently deployed alongside the Imperial forces engaged against the massive Orc War in the Caradon system. Unforgivable Theft, Millennium 41. Illuminor Caesaris led his Necron legions of the South-Tech dynasty in an attack upon the Imperial world of Gost, destroying a fortress complex belonging to the Mentor Space Marine chapter. As his prize, Caesaris claimed the entire stock of precious gene seed that lay hidden beneath the fortress. The Humbling, Unknown, Millennium 41. Chapter Relics, Ranthor's Gaze. Ranthor's Gaze is a highly advanced Auspex with several unique functionalities. Its detection range is extended out to 1 kilometer. Furthermore, materials that would normally inhibit or block Auspex scans do not restrict Ranthor's Gaze. The Omega Vault yielded up this unique Auspex upon the arrival of a battle brother of the Mentors chapter to watch Fortress Ariok several centuries ago. The warrior is said to have simply approached the opening doors and taken the relic as if he had expected it, although this may be simply another legend surrounding his secretive chapter and its obsessive mastery of knowledge. Chapter Appearance. The Mentors primarily wear dark green power armor, which includes the power pack, helm, torso, and shoulder plate. The shoulder plates, arms, and legs are white. The Red Squad specialty symbol, battle line, close support, fire support, veteran, or command, is located on the right shoulder plate. A black high Gothic numeral is stenciled on the center of the squad's specialty symbol, which indicates squad number. The color of the helmet indicates company number in accordance with the Codex Astartes, i.e. white is first company, yellow second company, red third company, green fourth company, etc. The Mentors chapter badge was originally the stylized face of an owl, but was later changed to that of a profile of a stylized red raptor's head, centered on a field of white. End quote. Now, the Mentors are a chapter that has been knocking around for quite some time, and I picked them out of the many suggestions in the comments due to the striking colors and the nostalgia they elicited. But for your sake, do hit the comments section with your suggestions for the next chapters to be done this way. But don't put in the chapters of the Badab War, please. They will require longer, a much more thorough investigation at a further point when time and energy permits. The Badab War may be something that requires to be addressed. I have been Baldermort, your faithful servant. If you have enjoyed this brief introduction to the Mentors chapter, then please do consider liking and subscribing. If you do, then hit the notifications button, as I would not want you to miss out. Now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.